Hello everyone, welcome to Headlines of the Day. This is the Indian Express, 29th of April 2022, and we are back again with some of the major articles from the newspaper. Let's begin our today's discussion with the very first article on page number 1 from GS3 Science and Technology, that is headlined as "In a First, Indigo uses Indian navigation system to land aircraft." From this article, you have to understand what is the Gagan, GPS-aided GEO augmented navigation, why is it important for India, and what are the space-based augmentation systems available in the world. Moving further on page number 1 itself from GS1 history section, there's an article. Remains found in Punjab well traced to 1857 rebellion, says a study. So there were some remains found in the district Anjala town in the Amritsar's district Anjala town. From this article, you have to understand what are the findings of recent study in context of the 1857 Indian uprising, and you have to know about the causes and result of that uprising. Moving further on page number 6 from GS2 Polity and Governance, the article is headlined as "Working towards removing AFSPA from Northeast, says our Prime Minister." So from this article, you have to understand why did the AFSPA come into being, what states are or were covered by the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, what attempts have been made in the past to repeal the AFSPA. Moving further, page number 6 from GS2 International Relations is an article. Looking to resume bus rail link to Bangladesh, says our Foreign Minister Mr. S. Jaishankar. From this article, you have to understand what are the latest developments regarding India-Bangladesh relations, its importance, challenges, and what is the possible scenario ahead. Moving further on page number 8 from GS2 Welfare Schemes is an article. PM Kisan in Kerala, over 30,000 ineligible beneficiaries detected. From this article, you have to understand what is the PM Kisan scheme, provisions, exclusions, significance, the challenges, issues, and what is the possible scenario ahead. Moving further on page number 9 from GS1 Geography, there's an article about rainfall prediction this monsoon. So normal or more rainfall this monsoon, says the SASCOF, that is the South Asia Climate Outlook Forum. From this article, you have to understand what are the takeaways of the consensus statement released at the 22nd South Asian Climate Outlook Forum, SASCOF. Moving further on page number 10 from GS3 Economy section, there's an editorial article highlighted as "A War Runs Through It." From this article, you have to understand the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the consequent rise in the inflation, whether the fiscal targets will be altered due to the evolving conditions, estimate of GDP growth, has inflation been positive for the government, how has the government adeptly managed the fiscal members in the last couple of years, and what more needs to be done in this particular context. Moving further on page number 10 from GS3 Economy section, shock-proofing power. So this talks about the efficiency of thermal plants must be increased and regulators empowered. From this article, you have to understand why has India witnessed significant power shortages and why the demand-supply mismatch for commodities such as coal widened globally, major causes of the low inventory of coal at the power plants in India, why geopolitical tensions have exacerbated the existing crisis, its implications, and what steps need to be taken to handle it. Moving further on page number 15 from GS3 Economy section, there are two articles. The first one, States versus Center on Fuel Taxes. From this article, you have to understand how is fuel taxed and how are the collections shared between the center and the states. Now, the second article is about the LIC's IPO. The article is headlined as "After revised pricing, should you invest in LIC's IPO?" You have to understand from this article how is IPO priced and what are the advantages of listing. Moving further on page number 17 from GS3 Economy section, there's an article. To plug support package loopholes, NABARD plans Farmers Distress Index. From this article, you have to understand the objectives behind the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, that is NABARD's, and its plan to formulate the Farmers Distress Index, that is FDI. Moving further, on page number 17 itself from GS3 Economy section, there's another article. Government surveys shows a rising trend in organized sector employment, says our Labour Minister Mr. Bhupendra Yadav. From this article, you have to understand what are the findings of the Labour and Employment Ministry's third quarterly employment survey report of October-December 2021. And in addition, what are the highlights of this particular survey? Moving further on page number 17 from GS3 Cybersecurity, there's another article. Mandatory reporting of cyber incidents in 6 hours. From this article, you have to understand what are the new guidelines issued by CERT to companies operating in India, its objectives, and you have to know about the CERT, that is the Computer Emergency Response Team. So with this, we call it a wrap of today's edition of Headlines of the Day, the Indian Express. For regular updates, you can follow us on our social media handles, and for more such videos, do stay tuned to the Next IAS YouTube channel.